Welcome to today's City Council meeting. We're not having a briefing session because we don't have a meeting next week, but we are going to have our legislative session today, and including consent agenda. But before that, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Ms. Pfister, if you'd like to call the roll.
Council President Beggs.
Here.
Councilmember Bingle, who I believe is appearing virtually. Okay. Councilmember Cathcart.
Present.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Present.
Councilmember Stratton.
Here.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Present.
Councilmember Sapone.
Here.
Let the record reflect that all council members are present.
All right, and we're going to have a couple of boards and commission candidate interviews. And so I'm going to start with Christina Verheuvel. And you please introduce yourself so we get the pronunciation right. And just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in serving on the park board.
Yes, absolutely. So good afternoon. I'm Christina Verheuvel. So you were close. And I am so pleased to have the opportunity to connect with you today. I am here with the opportunity to represent the park board, as you mentioned. This has been an opportunity I've been interested in pursuing since I relocated back home to Spokane, where I was born and raised. Relocated back in 2017 to help start the WSU College of Medicine. And upon coming home after having spent several years in Seattle as well as in Nashville, Tennessee, to me, this was one of the assets that we have in our city that to me is most remarkable, that many other larger cities do not have. It's one of our greatest selling points and features in our community, both to people who live here as well as to tourism and new business, new economy coming to our city. And so I wanted to bring some of the expertise that I've built over the last 15 plus years in business, as well as living and serving in these other communities, back to my home to help continue and further the efforts happening in parks.
I know Councilmember Stratton has a question for you. She's from Spokane.
She's from Spokane.
You're from Spokane, originally?
Spokane.
Where you went to high school?
I went to North Central High School.
Let's hear it for North Central.
All right.
Hey.
Go Wolfpack.
That's my question, thanks.
Other questions? All right. Thank you, Christina, and we'll be acting on that nomination shortly. You don't have to be here for that meeting, and we'll let you know when you can attend your first park board meeting in your official capacity. Thank you. And then Karen Sabanakita, perhaps, but also please introduce yourself, a nominee to the Community Health and Human Services Board, or Housing and Human Services Board, actually. And if you could tell us a little about yourself and why you're interested in serving on that board.
Actually, one of the things that attracted me, but the thing that made it really doable was the affordability of housing. And of course, I've seen that go off the charts since that time. I live in Browns Addition, and we rub elbows with people who are unhoused daily. And there are many issues around that, as well as a feeling of not knowing quite how to help. So I'm interested in serving on the CHHS board because I feel like as a retired nurse, I have an interest in the public health aspects of poverty, addiction, mental illness, and lack of shelter. I also just want to give to my community. I enjoy volunteering, and especially enjoy volunteering in places that I can learn. And I have met the board members already. I saw Betsy Wilkerson at a housing meeting the other night, and I just expect the more I learn, the more I can be helpful.
All right. Any questions for Karen?
Hi, Karen. This is Karen. My question is, what do you, in your opinion, what do you think is the biggest issue right now in terms of community health?
I think affordability, I mean, it's a federal issue. I think that access to health care shouldn't be tied to employment. And I think that people who don't have consistent, a foundation in their life that I enjoy, the mainstream sort of middle class life, really struggle to have their mental health and their physical health needs met, and to have a healthy lifestyle can be very difficult in those situations.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Well, first of all, kudos. Shout out to Brown's Addition because they do a fabulous work in working with the unhoused down there. So that's my neighborhood. Thank you. So where we're at right now, if you've given some thought legislatively, what do you think we as in city administration, council members, could lean in to help?
From what I know, I think that we do need more shelter beds. I volunteered for a while at the House of Charity Clinic, and I was, after a whole career in nursing, it was shocking to me to learn how disabling anxiety can be and how many people struggle with that who have had traumatic past experiences and are living unsheltered lives. And so I think mental health services, case management, dignified places to lay your head and to have community. I think the Camp Hope has been an interesting demonstration to the community because I don't think it's resourced at all like one would design it ideally, with adequate hygiene and services and nutrition and privacy and some of those things. But I still think that it seems like it's a more positive step than we've seen before. And I believe that looking at other alternatives, as we heard the other night, Betsy, just some alternatives to remove people who would like to get off the street, give them a place that's safe and dignified to stay. And I heard the shocking number, as you did too, that the statistics seem to show that $50,000 or $60,000 a year is the cost to a city for an unhoused person between fire response, criminal response, health emergencies. And so hopefully we can find a way to fund the services we need so we can help people get off the street. And at some point, I think there is a need for law enforcement for people who commit crimes and won't accept services that might help them lead that life. But I think it can be, it can feel just hateful if that's all we do.
Thank you. And welcome.
Yeah. Any other questions? All right. Karen, thanks again to you. And thank you, Christina, for putting your name forward, being willing to serve. If anyone else is interested in serving on a city board or commission, we have a web page at My Spokane on that. You can just query that if you get there. It's got all the boards and commissions, what they do, current openings, and also terms of current members, so you can see when people are going to term out. And if you're interested, you apply with the mayor's office for just about all of them, and the mayor will interview you and then suggest people for us to consider to vote. And so we'll be voting on both your nominations in the near future, and you don't have to be there for the meeting. And we'll also let you know when you can go to your first CHHS board meeting. So thank you both for all that you have done and will do. Take care. I am just going to check with whether it's Mr. McClatchy or Mr. Ormsby, if we can do our executive session after we've done all our legislative business rather than go into that while everyone's waiting for us. Is that? Okay, super. All right, well, we have a couple of proclamations. The first one on my list is Child Abuse Prevention. Councilmember Cathcart, Our Kids, Our Business.
Okay, City of Spokane proclamation. Whereas all children and youth have the right to a life free from abuse, neglect, and exploitation, the reality is that children within our community remain victims of this violence. Partners with families and children serves to prevent, interrupt, and repair cycles of abuse and neglect within families and serve as a safety net for abused and neglected children across the Inland Northwest to provide care including forensic evaluation, treatment services, and prevention work to encircle families with security and support so that families can thrive and children can live healthy, productive lives. And whereas members of Spokane County's Child Abuse Multidisciplinary Team are the first responders to reports of child abuse, neglect, and exploitation, and are committed to ensure all efforts are made to the safety, protection, and prevention of further abuse through trauma-informed investigations and collaborative support services for children, youth, and their families. And whereas Our Kids, Our Business is committed to community actions to end child abuse through awareness, education, resources, and collaboration of partnership agencies in Spokane County, understanding that the prevention of harm can only be attained through coordinated efforts to support youth and their caretakers. Now, therefore, I, Nadine Woodward, Mayor of the City of Spokane, on behalf of the citizens of Spokane, do hereby proclaim April 2022 as Child Abuse Prevention Month. And we've got, looks like Melanie is here to accept. Melanie, if you want to come on down and.
Good afternoon.
No, good afternoon.
My name is Melanie Goodman. I am the current president of Our Kids, Our Business in Spokane, and we want to thank you for honoring this proclamation today. Our Kids, Our Business is comprised of agencies and individuals that work every day to increase positive opportunities for children and to nourish their growing brains and reduce adversity families endure in our community. Child abuse and neglect is 100% preventable. Our Kids, Our Business members are dedicated to spreading awareness, education, and resources to build resilience and prevent an overload of stress on families. Childhood adversity is avoidable. We encourage everyone to embrace the moments of possibilities each of us have to make an impact on the children in our lives, not only in April, but every month of the year. Thank you.
This is great. I actually get to hand out one. It's been a long time. Yeah. Yeah, get a photo. All right, and we have a second proclamation from Councilmember Kinnear on Tartan Week.
Thank you. Whereas Tartan Day is a North American celebration of Scottish heritage on April 6th, which was the date in 1320 on which the Declaration of Arbuthnot was signed, and whereas the declaration was addressed to Pope John the 22nd as a response to King Robert I's excommunication for disobeying the Pope's demand in 1317 for a truce in the First War of Scottish Independence. And whereas the declaration asserted the independence of the Kingdom of Scotland from England, and whereas a tartan is a geometric pattern of stripes and squares that identified the wearer as a member of a Scottish clan, and whereas Scottish people preserved this piece of cultural heritage and identity through centuries of persecution, whereas with many of the United States founding fathers being of Scottish descent, Scotland's declaration was used as a model for our own Declaration of Independence. And whereas today there are an estimated 25 million people in the U.S. who are of Scottish descent, now therefore I, Brian Begg, Spokane City Council President, on behalf of the community members of Spokane, do hereby proclaim the week of April 4th through 10th, 2022, as Tartan Week in Spokane. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, she brought a scarf instead of a representative.
Yes.
Good. Excellent. So next up, I have, the way we're going through the agenda is going to be the consent agenda, but there is a request to suspend the rules and add a new item 5. If you'd like to read item 5, I'll ask for some motions to suspend and add.
Sure. Purchase from Atlas Copco Compressors LLC, Rock Hill, South Carolina, of Model ZR 110 compressor for the waste-to-energy facility. Purchase price, including shipping, $129,900.60 plus tax.
And I don't know if there's anyone here that has any details on that. I don't know if anyone needs any. Does anyone need any details on it? Is he on? Oh, David. Great. Thanks, David.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the waste-to-energy plant uses 3 compressors to support its boiler processes. 2 compressors run all the time, and 1 remains in a standby status. The standby status computers experienced a catastrophic failure about 2 months ago. We did a temporary repair to get it back in service while we searched for different avenues to alleviate our situation. The first avenue was to rent a compressor at the cost of about $20,000 a month. We ruled that out, and we went out to bid for a new replacement compressor for this one. And we received three bids during the competitive bidding process. Atlas Copco was the low bidder, and we wish to award them the contract. One of the things that came out during the bidding process is the lead time for these compressors was 20 plus weeks long. Atlas Copco shared with us that they have 2 of these compressors on order with no commitments. And if we could give them a commitment this week, we can have one of those compressors to be delivered to us in June of this year. Any questions?
All right. Thank you for explaining that to us. That's great. Is there a motion to suspend the rules for purpose of adding to the consent agenda?
So moved to suspend the rules.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of suspending the rules in order to add matters to the consent agenda indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Councilmember Bingle, are you there? Are you an aye?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. The rules are suspended. Is there a motion to add item 5 to today's consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Again, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Councilmember Bingle?
Aye.
It is added to the consent agenda. All right. Madam Clerk, if you'd like to read the consent agenda, we'll have a vote on it.
Reports, contracts, and claims. Number 1, 3-year and 2-month value blanket with Cascade Engineering Incorporated, Grand Rapids, Michigan, for purchase of automated solid waste carts utilizing Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Contract number 041217, CEI, estimated annual expenditure $800,000, including tax. Number 2, multiple family housing property tax exemption conditional agreements with A. McKinley School, LLC, for the future rehab construction of approximately 4 buildings of 22 plus units each at parcel number 35163.3001, commonly known as 120 North Magnolia Street. B. LTS LLC, for future rehab construction of approximately 136 units at parcel numbers 35173.0504 and 35173.0408, commonly known as 134 and 190 East Spokane Falls Boulevard. These conditional agreements will ultimately result in the issuance of a final certificate of tax exemption to be filed with the Spokane County Assessor's Office post-construction. Number 3, report of the Mayor of Pending A claims and payments of previously approved obligations, including those of Parks and Library, through March 18, 2022, total $4,407,026.59, with Parks and Library claims approved by the respective boards. Warrants excluding Parks and Library total $3,995,472.77. B, payroll claims of previously approved obligations through March 19, 2022, $7,599,245.51. Number 4, City Council meeting minutes for March 14, March 17, and March 24, 2022. Item number 5, purchase from Atlas Copco Compressors LLC, Rock Hill, South Carolina, of model ZR 110 compressor for the waste-to-energy facility. Purchase price, including shipping, $129,900.60 plus tax.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Councilmember Bingle? Are you there, Councilman?
Wow. Awake. I'm deaf.
Well, yep.
All right.
He said aye.
Sounds like an aye. Thank you. All right. Consent agenda is passed. Looks like we have one park board appointment.
Appoint Christina Verhul to serve a 5-year term on the Park Board from April 1, 2022 to February 2nd, 2027.
All right. All those in favor of the appointment indicate by saying aye.
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 Excellent. That is approved. Thanks, Christina. I believe I've heard from Ms. Allers that we don't have anyone signed up for any agenda items or open forum. That's correct. So we'll go to the special budget ordinances. Well, actually, before we do that, sorry, there are some requests to add items to this agenda, so we should probably take those first. The first one is ordinance 36187. Is there a motion to add that ordinance to the agenda? Miscellaneous Grants Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor of adding that ordinance to the agenda indicate by saying aye.
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 All right, thank you. And then there is a motion to add, is there a motion to add Resolution 30 to the agenda?
Yes, but I have a question. Did you want to substitute?
Let's wait till we get to that and we'll substitute. I think our Councilmember Cathcart has also some requested amendments.
Yes, I moved to add it.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all those in favor of adding Resolution 2022-30 to today's agenda indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Nay. Councilmember Bingle.
Aye.
All right. Then let us now go to the top of the legislative agenda, special budget ordinances.
Ordinances amending ordinance number C-36-161 passed by the City Council December 13, 2021 and entitled, an ordinance adopting the annual budget of the City of Spokane for 2022, making appropriations to the various funds of the City of Spokane government for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2022, and providing it shall take effect immediately upon passage and declaring an emergency and appropriating funds in Ordinance C-36-184 Park Fund, number 1, increased revenue by $132,895. A, of the increased revenue, $132,895 is provided solely for an Association of Washington Cities reimbursable grant in the Parks and Recreation Department. Number 2, increased appropriation by $132,895. B, of the increased appropriation, $132,895 is provided solely for summer experiences and enrichment for kids expenses in the Parks and Recreation Department. This action arises from the need to accept the AWC Seek reimbursable grant.
All right, is there any council commentary?
First of all, I think it's a great partnership with the Association of Washington Cities that we were awarded this money and that it will expand opportunities for our kids in our neighborhoods. I think it's an absolutely good deal.
All right. All right. Oh, I guess we can vote. All right. Prepare to vote. And Councilmember Bingle, how do you vote? Are you there, Councilmember Bingle?
Aye. Can you hear me? Aye.
All right. Next, special budget ordinance.
Ordinance C-36-185 Park Fund, number 1, increase appropriation by $1,300,000. A, of the increased appropriation, $1,300,000 is provided solely for an operating transfer out in the Parks and Recreation Department to the Park Cumulative Reserve Department and Cumulative Reserves Fund, Park Department, and Capital Purposes Fund. Number 2, increase revenue by $1,300,000. B, of the increased revenue, $1,300,000 is provided solely as an operating transfer in from the Parks and Recreation Department to the Park Cumulative Reserve Department. Number 3, increase appropriation by $1,300,000. C, of the increased appropriation, $1,300,000 is provided solely for other improvements in the Park Cumulative Reserve Department. This action arises from the need to use park fund unappropriated reserves to fund park capital improvements.
All right, any council commentary on this special budget ordinance? All right, seeing none, prepare to vote. And Councilmember Bingle.
Aye.
That passes 7-0. Next, special budget ordinance.
The next ordinance I'll read in its entirety. Ordinance number C-36-187, an ordinance amending ordinance number C-36-161 passed by the City Council December 13, 2021, and entitled, an ordinance adopting the annual budget of the City of Spokane for 2022, making appropriations to various funds of the City of Spokane government for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2022, and providing it shall take effect immediately upon passage and declared an emergency. Whereas subsequent to the adoption of the 2022 budget ordinance number C-36-161 is above entitled, and which passed the City Council December 13, 2021, it is necessary to make changes in the appropriations of the miscellaneous grants fund, which changes could not have been anticipated or known at the time of making such budget ordinance. And whereas this ordinance has been on file in the City Clerk's office for 5 days, now therefore the City of Spokane does ordain Section 1 that in the budget of the miscellaneous grants fund and the budget annexed thereto with reference to the miscellaneous grants fund, the following changes be made. Number 1, increase revenue by $1,352,400. A, revenue increase due to awarded grant funding through Washington State's Department of Commerce as part of the 2021-2023 state capital budget. Number 2, increase appropriation by $1,352,400. A, increase in appropriations to be used solely for building improvements for the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center's East Central Community Center. Section 2, it is therefore by the City Council declared that an urgency and emergency exists for making the changes set forth herein. Such urgency and emergency arising from acceptance of grant funding for replacing the roof of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center, and because of such need and urgency and emergency exists for the passage of this ordinance, and also because the same makes an appropriation, it shall take effect and be enforced immediately upon its passage.
Any discussion, council commentary? All right, prepare to vote. Councilmember Bingle.
Aye.
Okay. That passes 7-0. All right, there's no emergency ordinances. Brings us to Resolution 2022-30 on public safety vehicle purchases. And my suggestion is that we allow Councilmember Kinnear to bring a motion to substitute the base document and then entertain any motions to amend. And we'll have council commentary at that point.
So moved.
All right, so motion is to substitute with the version that we circulated just prior to this meeting, and essentially puts in a little bit of language that says as far as the vehicles up to the amount, and then adds the words equivalent in case something changes on that. It essentially gives fleet and police the authority to purchase, but doesn't require them to do it.
And that was based on our conversation at our PIES meeting.
Yep.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion about the motion to substitute?
Well, just a maybe point of clarification. When you say equivalent, does that mean that it's just a different version of a Mach-E, or does that mean it could be any variation of an electric vehicle?
It's meant to be broad.
Okay.
Written or read broadly, but. Yeah. Okay, any other commentary on the motion to substitute? All right. All those in favor of substituting this version indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? Councilmember Bingle?
Aye.
So we have a substitute version, and do you need to read that substitute version in its entirety? Go ahead.
Resolution number 2022-30, a resolution committing funds for public safety vehicle purchases, whereas Spokane City Council intends to make a substantial investment of at least $6,271,869 in 2022 into City of Spokane public safety vehicles consistent with its past investments, including 4 new fire pumper trucks at a cost of $3.9 million and 35 new police vehicles, and additional support at a cost of $2,564,000, with the option of additional consideration of more police vehicles later in 2022. And whereas since 2016, Spokane City Council has funded 201 new police vehicles as requested by the Police Department and Administration. And whereas the City Council has been following a long-term plan proposed by the previous mayor to increase general fund contributions to public safety capital by an additional $1 million per year $1 million year over year until the funding of public safety capital expenditures no longer requires loans or bonding to fund public safety needs by 2025. And whereas in the 2021 and 2022 proposed budgets, the administration departed from this plan and substantially reduced requests to City Council to purchase police replacement vehicles due to financial concerns arising from the COVID-19 pandemic and reprioritization of other city spending. And whereas City Council's proposed funding will restore that increased funding, and with additional funding will get the city back on track to fully funding public safety capital needs without loans by the end of 2025. And whereas City Council's proposed funding will partially restore the unequal capital spending between police and fire over the past 5 years. And whereas on March 1, 2022, the Fleet Department conveyed for the first time to City Council the Police Department's requested specifications for new police vehicles and a recommendation that police test a small-scale deployment of electric vehicle models prior to large-scale deployment, but Fleet has not yet conducted an independent analysis of specifications and comparisons with other police departments. And whereas City Council's proposed funding will allow the four fleets recommended testing a small-scale deployment of electric vehicle models prior to wide adoption of an electric fleet as required by state law, city ordinance, and independent analysis of required specifications for police work. And whereas staggering purchases of new police vehicles will allow the Fleet Department to more effectively commission them for service without the prior problem of the new vehicle suffering damage in storage while awaiting commissioning. Now therefore be it resolved that the Spokane City Council shall promptly consider a special budget ordinance to increase public safety vehicle funding for purchase, commissioning, and support in the amount of $6,271,869 from American Rescue Plan Act funds for revenue replacement as follows. A, $2,374,000 of the increased appropriation is to be used solely for the purchase and commissioning of the following 35 police vehicles: 1 up to 25 4K8 electric hybrid models, 2 up to 5 Ford Mach-E or equivalent models, 3 up to 3 Ford Lightning or equivalent models, and 4 up to 2 Chevrolet Diesel Tahoe or equivalent diesel models. B, $3,707,869 of the increased appropriation is to be used solely for the purchase and commissioning of 4 fire pumper trucks. C, $90,000 of the increased appropriation is to be used solely for the purchase and installation of electric charging infrastructure. D, $100,000 of the increased appropriation is to be transferred to Fleet Services for the procurement of a study to reduce police vehicles maintenance and purchase costs by proposing reforms to take-home vehicle when cages are included in fleet rotational policies, and recommend electric vehicle model choices based on experiences of other police departments and independent analysis. Be it further resolved that Fleet is pre-authorized to enter into purchase agreements for vendors of the 35 police vehicles in order to avoid price increases and product scarcity. Be it finally resolved that the City of Spokane shall review fire and police public safety vehicle needs at its October 3, 2022 Public Safety Committee meeting in conjunction with the results of the outside consulting study and any pilot deployment of the Ford Lightning and Mach-E models of equivalence, and consider further ARPA investments for public safety vehicle funding.
All right, so again, anyway, it's now open for council commentary, amendments, anything else. Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, I would like to make a motion that we amend this. I'm not quite sure the best way to do it, but the rules are suspended. So basically to say up to 54 Ford K8 electric hybrid models, so that the total is 64 vehicles in all. And so updating where it says 35 to 64, updating 25 to 54 would be my motion.
And are you going to be updating the amount of money?
Yeah, and it'd be approximately 4.1 for 64. So it'd be some little bit below that since it'd be 10 fewer, but we can get those numbers.
Okay. We probably have to get the number, but I think there's maybe I'll lean on the audience for a moment. Mr. Giddings, you have a number for a K8 fully paid, taxed, and equipped, and I don't have it right in front of me, but. We're using $65,000. Okay. Um, 25, 29, clear. Okay, so that's an additional 1,885,000 of ARP money that would go to the total in the intro and then into section A. So that would, okay, let me keep doing my math.
It doesn't sound right. Did he say 61? He said 64.
So it's 29 additional K-9s,
And it was
Okay.
64,000?
65,000.
Should I show them this?
1885.
Do they have it? Brian, do you have this? He's got it. The math is there.
Yeah, no, I'm just adding it to the
Oh,
resolution, just so I know.
It's a total of 4,160,000.
Okay.
It's the longest we've ever sat in silence.
Um, 2, 3.
Karen, you got any jokes for us?
That's the total.
Now's the time.
as opposed to,
Oh, she's busy working.
She's doing math.
Okay, so the amendment, this is friendly commentary to your amendment. So in the paragraph that was 6,271,869 from ARP money, it would go to 8,156,869.
Okay.
And then in section A, for the amount on being spent on vehicles, it would go from 2,374,000 to 4,259,000.
that would all be ARP money?
Yeah.
And there's no other fund that we can pull out of for that?
No. So that's the amendment that's proposed. I'm imagining Councilmember Bingle will second that for you, if you're there, Councilmember Bingle.
I second.
Okay. So the amendment is on the floor for any discussion that anyone has, and then we'll have a vote on that. Councilmember Stratton.
So if we ordered the 64, if we approved the money for the 64, would you have those vehicles by October 2022? No. Okay.
Mr. Giddings is indicating no, in case he wasn't.
No, I
No, I know you saw that, but for people who are watching and can't
Gotcha.
hear, so, yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, so my intention in bringing this forward is, one, that's what was requested of us, was to approve up to 64. And so that's part of the reason. The other is just given how frustrating the supply chain is right now with automobiles, I would rather them have the flexibility, if they do come upon an opportunity to secure vehicles, that they have that authorization. And we can always, if they haven't been able to obtain those vehicles by this October meeting that's in the resolution, we can always reconsider how these dollars are allocated or future strategies or anything else. So to me, I think this is what's being asked of us, and that's why I've brought this forward. But also, I just think having that flexibility to secure these vehicles, especially in the current environment where we never know if we're going to be able to get them or not, would be helpful for them to have. So I think it makes sense, and it's a good compromise.
Councilmember Kinnear.
I understand that, and I have heartburn over the amount of money. Because the atmosphere is changing completely around vehicles, and the not just getting them, but what they're going to look like, what the configuration, if they're going to actually be usable. And the other piece is, so starting last week, I worked with Johnny Perkins, I worked with council members to find out what is the sweet spot, what is the compromise we can come up with, because in this economic climate, we're not going to get everything we want. We have so many ARPA dollars, and they have to go around to a lot of different entities. Police aren't the only ones that are asking for this money. In order to come up with something that is going to serve our community and serve the police department, make sure that going forward, we're going to take another look at it in 6 months. We worked hard to get everybody on board with this the first resolution that we read. And so I'm reluctant to throw all our eggs in this basket. I understand the need, absolutely. And we put a lot of hours into this. I'm reluctant to support this because I know of the other asks that are out there, and they're all worthy asks. The police department is a worthy ask, as is the fire, as is parks. All of our departments have issues that they need addressed, and there's only so much ARPA money, and our community has asks as well. So at this time, I'd like to support our original resolution and still revisit this in 6 months, knowing that we can augment this if we all decide this is the way to go. But right now, I want to stick with our original. That was a long soliloquy, sorry.
Thank you. Councilmember Bingle, your hand is up.
Yes, thank you. I guess my biggest frustration with this process at this point was when the fire department came to us and said, hey, we need 4 new pumper trucks. We have some urgency. The community could save a couple $100,000 if we purchase these now, if we get them done. In about 15 minutes, we approved 3.7, and now I'm hearing $3.9 million to purchase 4 brand new gasoline-powered pumper trucks, which rightfully we needed. The fire department needs those. That was a good and proper confirmation of those dollars and allocation of those dollars. I think that's really good. Some of my frustration comes in that I don't remember us once asking a question of, is there a hybrid pumper truck? Is there a fully electric pumper truck? And spoiler alert, they exist. And to me, it seems frustrating that we have asked our police department to go through a years-long process to tell us the equipment that they need, the tools for them to be most effective, and we continue to run them through the ringer as if they haven't done a good enough job pursuing electric vehicles or alternative vehicles to meet the demands that the community needs and the goals that the state and the city have. For me, that's quite frustrating. If I'm a police officer, it's really difficult to be a police officer right now. When I'm looking at the city that I work for, what I want to see is that they're equipping me in the best way possible for me to be the most successful that I can be in my job. And throughout this process, I have seen a bit of a double standard when it comes to the way we support some departments and the way that we support others. That, to me, is my biggest frustration. And I know that we all want to support the police. We all want to do it. I think this is one of the best ways that we can do it, in that this is the tool that they need. I'm a contractor, right? And if I'm building a fence and I've got nails and I tell my boss, you know what, hey, I need a hammer so that I can drive these nails in and build the best fence. And he comes back to me and says, hey, I got you an electric screw gun. This is going to be fantastic. I might look at him and say, well, yeah, but that's not what I need. That's not what I was asking for. I mean, I guess I can use, the battery end of it to bang the nails in, but it's going to take me longer. It's not going to do as good of a job. I would be frustrated with my employer because you're tasking me with doing something, but you're not giving me the proper tools. I think the best thing that we can do, the best way that we can support our police, and I think this would be a significant boost to the morale of the police, is to approve this and move forward so that we can give the police the tools necessary to keep the public as safe as possible and start small with our EVs and build towards the future of a fully electrified fleet, which I think we all understand is coming and we all can see a benefit in. It's just not there today.
Thank you. Other council commentary on the proposed amendment?
I will say that at PIES, we had quite a robust discussion on cars and the number of cars, and I thought we'd come to a compromise on that, knowing that there are competing interests out there for funding going forward. We do support the cars. It was just a number of cars. We stated we're willing to come back and revisit it in 6 months. So at this time, I'm going to go with the discussion we had this afternoon and go with that number.
Any other council commentary on the amendment?
I think I just want to say that all of these discussions, and thanks to everybody for all the hard work that's been done. I know it's been frustrating, but this to me is a lesson in the fact that I don't think anybody means to not be communicative, but I think we can all admit there's been a lack of communication for many, many months. It's not just this, it's other issues. There's not one member of this city council that I know that doesn't support the police department 100%. We support you, we want the best for you, we worry about morale, but as I look at this issue and what we've been doing for, God, I don't know, months, crunching numbers and all of that, to me it really is about maybe moving forward and learning how to communicate better and learning to trust each other, because I think that it's been such a long time with everything going on. It's not a fault of anybody, but with everything changing daily and everything going on, you sometimes forget to sit down and just talk and make sure that, I have your number and you have mine and we can talk about this. So if there's one thing I've learned, it's that this has suffered, this relationship has suffered because of a number of situations that we have no control over. But I do think that we all need to learn to step back a little bit, sit down, trust each other a little more, and get on top of these when we absolutely, can be around that table to talk about it. Because I've heard so many numbers bounced around and so many different agreements that my head is spinning. And but yet I don't want to hurt the police department. I value and I honor the Spokane Police Department. I think all of us do. But there is a piece of me that says this is a good time for us to commit to sit down and talk and kind of reestablish some trust so that we can move forward. And in 6 months, look at the rest of the fleet that we want to purchase. So that's all I have to say. I want to thank everybody. I appreciate it, but I think the reality is that we really need to kind of slow down a little bit and start trusting each other again.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, I'll just maybe close on this. I just think Major McNabb stood up here not 2 hours ago and said very specifically that they need 64 vehicles, and that's a first phase of a multi-phased approach to the number of vehicles that we need. We need more than 200 vehicles replaced in our fleet. And it's concerning to me that if we don't find a way to make this investment right now, that not only are we going to continue to be years behind where we should be, which we are now, but we're just going to continue to kick that can down the road. And ultimately, whether we approve this today, in October, next year, it's more than likely going to come from the same fund. It's just going to delay our ability to access those tools and allow our officers to do their jobs and to do it well. So I really don't see how not following through with this investment today is the best decision. I mean, our officers have been extremely clear. They need these vehicles and they need them yesterday. So to me, I mean, we're already, as it is, with 25 plus, we're going to get to 25 hopefully soon, but the additional 8, it could be 2 years before we see those. So, I mean, we're not really making a big dent here. And I even heard the administration earlier saying they would even go for 35 if 35 is 10 more than 25. And so we're not even at that level of a compromise. So I don't see any compromise really in this version, because we're barely making a dent. And then to delay further decision till October, it just puts us further behind. So to me, we need to make this investment. We need to make this investment now. It's the tool that our officers are asking for. And they're still going to go, still going to include these 8 options to potentially buy some EVs and consider those. But the hybrids that they know work and that they need out in the field, they need them today. And so I think supporting this amendment is the best way to do that and make sure that they have all those tools that we know that they should have.
Yeah, so just speaking before we have a vote on the amendment, I don't support the amendment. We heard from Fleet that they could not equip those by October. They couldn't buy them, equip them. There's a shortage of them out there. So I don't think having 25 investment now and then looking at it in October when we get the results of our study back on how to reduce mileage and rotational policies and things like that can make us more effective and can extend the life of our vehicles. I don't think we've lost anything. I really feel like this has been presented to us for a while as an all or nothing gambit. If you don't do exactly what we say, you don't support us. And that's just really destructive for the relationship in the community. And I just really would like to look forward of what we are doing. I got the numbers from Fleet, and our city council has invested over 200 vehicles in the last 6 years for police, which they needed, and it was great. And only less than 2 years ago, we purchased 52. And actually, the department didn't seem to be even aware that we had purchased 52, how soon we had done that, how short of time ago. And last year, they only requested 13, and there were circumstances for that. We were in an economic situation, but we're almost tripling that number this year. And so I feel like we are moving forward as we can. We're getting more information. We're doing further evaluation of our ARPA asks to the community of what do we need this money most for? And we heard today that there are 11 rotational vehicles that are getting double shifted. Those really need to be replaced as soon as possible. Rather than wait to get all the information, this will get that process going. I can't imagine that they will find and obtain and commission 25 vehicles before the first week of October this year. So I don't really think we're going behind. But if we're able to get the information that we need and can be more efficient, we can spend our dollars better in October. And again, I think the dollars will still be there, but we'll be able to do it with eyes wide open rather than just making this commitment for something there's no way we can get done by October. So for those reasons, I'm opposed to the amendment, but we'll take a voice vote on the amendment. So all those in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay.
Nay.
Nay. Councilmember Bingle for.
Aye.
So the amendment does not pass 5-2. And now we're at the base resolution. Are there any other comments that people want to make before we vote on the base resolution? Councilmember Wilkerson.
Council President, in your comments, if they should find those vehicles betwixt now and then, bring it back. I mean, it says in October, but I think we'd be willing to revisit that sooner than later. So that's what I put out there for the group to show that, I mean, we want the best outcome.
This just guarantees it gets come back in October,
Yeah,
but it can come back
guaranteed,
sooner.
but it can come back sooner, so thank you.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Well, I don't think we'd even be in this situation if we'd have considered this sooner to begin with, because we would have had a line on a lot more vehicles. And so unfortunately, we're in this situation that we're in. But I would hate to see a situation arise where they do find some vehicles and, oops, the deal's closed before they can get authorization from us because of the amount of time it takes for us to convene. So I feel like we're putting them in a really bad spot. But that being said, I can't let perfect be the enemy of good. And we need those cars. As much as I would like to vote no, because I don't think we're doing the responsible thing, I have to vote yes. I'm compelled to vote yes because our officers need those vehicles and we have to get those out on the street. I'm grateful that we have the equivalent option in the updated ordinance. I do think that that is very necessary. I think that will help to allow them to hopefully make some better purchasing decisions and to find some better options when it comes to those EVs. But but only doing 25, I just don't think that that is the right number, but that's where we're at. And so I will be voting yes to approve those. And if indeed you do get a line on additional vehicles, I do hope that you will bring those back to us, and hopefully we'll be able to accommodate that.
May I?
Councilmember Kinnear.
I agree the process is long. I mean, you have to go through council, you have to do all the things that require us as a government to approve. Every department has to do that. It's not unique to police. And I know sometimes it's laborious. However, there are ways to get things done faster, and we know how to do that. So I would echo Councilmember Cathcart, if there is something that you see coming up, and read the tea leaves, and all of a sudden vehicles get to us quick and say, hey, we need this. And case in point, we have this on our agenda tonight. I had a meeting with you last week where we were out an entire month. I got it onto our PIE's committee meeting and onto this agenda. So I don't want to hear that we can't do things quickly, because we did it quickly tonight. So if something happens that you get a beat on cars, let's hear it, let's get it on, and let's get her done. That's all I got.
Councilmember Stratton.
I have one question. So let's say they come back in 4 months, 5 months, and they have, additional vehicles, and we've said we'll look at it, and it's a good plan. Is that ARPA funding again, or do we need to set any other kinds of funding?
That's a Matt question.
Yeah, I don't want them to come forward and then we go, oh, all of our ARPA money's gone. I mean,
Well, we are working on retooling again. We had a really good sustainability plan for public safety vehicles, and we are trying to get it back on track, including using ARPA to try to do that. But we needed to act tonight to get them on the hunt for that. So that process is continuing as part of the ARPA. In the next few weeks, we'll be talking about public safety vehicle funding of ARPA in addition to these funds. But this was to get the fire trucks done, because there's a deadline coming up, and to give them authority at their request to start purchasing. So
okay.
we're not done yet with that plan, but we were looking at loans, ARPA, and other issues. So we're continuing to work on that.
Okay.
Councilmember Zepone.
Yeah, I'm going to support this, and I think 25 is getting us forward and help support the police in what they're asking for and what they're able to get up and going by October of this year. I think it's important that we recognize that we're following the lead of other cities around the country that are moving towards this direction too. And I will look forward to an update in October about comparisons of other cities around the country. When there are asks, I want to see what other people are doing around the state and the country and compare to that. I also think that this is an opportunity to reinvest in our public safety system, and I think that we're demonstrating that we continue to support and invest in our public safety system.
I just wanted to add a couple of things. So in order to depart from the electric vehicle, we had to get a report from Fleet asking for an exception to the rule, and we got that on March 1st. So we are, from the time we got that report to when we're approving this money, is less than a month, which is very speedy by city standards. Secondly, one of the main issues that we heard is a lack of charging structure. As Councilmember Zepone was finding out earlier, the Lightning truck probably would work in terms of physical specifications, but we don't have enough charging structure. So we're putting $90,000 in so they can create the charging structure. And then also, as far as the comparison with other departments and just some of these practices that will extend the life of these vehicles, we put in $100,000 for outside help getting that work done. So we're setting ourselves up to be more informed and giving them the resources so that they can be more effective in making their asks going forward. Any other? Yes. Councilmember Bingle.
Yes. Just quick clarification. At the public safety meeting on December 7th of 2020, Fleet told us that we didn't have the charging infrastructure in place. And so we've actually known that for some time, not that we found that out today.
So yeah, just to be clear, I wasn't talking about the charging structure. I was talking about the specifications memo that we got March 1st. So, but this does help solve the charging infrastructure. Any other commentary?
Yeah, I'll just add, in this resolution, there is investment in electric charging stations. So that'll help us build towards the future when we can order more vehicles too.
All right, then prepare to vote. And Councilmember Bingle, how do you vote? Are you there, Councilmember Bingle?
Aye.
It passes 7-0. That brings us to first reading ordinance.
Ordinance C 36-186 relating to traffic control device visibility and vegetation control along roadways, amending Chapter 12.02, Article 1, and Chapter 12.02, Article 5 of Title 12, Spokane Municipal Code. Further action is deferred on the first reading ordinance.
All right, so we're going to have an executive session on labor negotiations. How much time, Mr. Ormsby, do you think?
A half an hour.
Okay, 30 minutes. We'll say till 5 o'clock, a little bit less than 30 minutes. So we're going to go into executive session. We don't anticipate any further work or business of the council, and I'll come out at the end of the executive session and gavel the meeting adjourned. If it's going to take longer, someone from council staff will make an announcement extending it. And we are on to executive session. There should be a link.
Are we going link?
All right. Good evening, everybody. Brian Beggs, Council President, just announcing that we finished our executive session right before 5 o'clock, and I walked out to the dais, and our meeting is adjourned. There is no meeting next Monday for spring break. Our next set of meetings will be on April 11th, committee meeting, a 10 o'clock committee meeting, and then a 1:15 briefing at 3:30, and then legislative at 6. Take care, everyone, and if you can, take care of somebody else.